You know what I have faith in is some picks I made when I was doing some research for this next bit that we have here. We're doing our college football playoff team draft. So, snake draft, we are all going to pick 4 teams that we think are going to make or have a chance to make the college football playoffs. And at the end of the year, we will see who had the most correct. We are going opposite order of our primetime picks. You will hear the order later again, but Jake is going first with the worst record of picks this year.
Just like the Dolphins, baby. Tanking.
So, Jake, the number 1 pick, the lock, in your opinion, to be in the college football playoffs.
Little inside baseball, peek behind the curtain. Brandon was very upset off the air because he knew what I was going to pick because I had the easiest pick. The lock is obviously Clemson. They don't play a ranked team. Yes, they had a bit of a scare against North Carolina a couple weeks ago, but come on. The ACC is a garbage conference. Horrible. Easily, they're a lock.
Clemson will get it together. I don't think they'll be this as bad as they played all year.
Also,
I think
they'll beat everybody.
You've got people on ESPN and stuff saying they're not in the top 4. They don't deserve to be in the top 4. I'm like, shut up. They didn't even lose. They're undefeated.
So, Jake, starting with Clemson, me second. I'm taking Bama, who is almost as close to a lock, hopefully.
Yeah, Clemson and Alabama were the 2 locks, I think.
And now back-to-back picks, Brandon.
My first pick is probably going to be Ohio State.
If you are picking who has the best chance to be in it, your number 3 option would be Ohio State.
Yeah, I think Ohio State's got the best chance to come out of the Big Ten.
Okay.
And the winner of the Big Ten is a lock to get into the playoffs. So I'm taking Ohio State. They've been very impressive this year so far.
So yeah, you'll get the next pick because it's Snake.
My second pick, and this one's a little bit tougher for me. It's hard for me to go against an SEC school, especially because they've had 2 teams in the playoffs 2 years in a row. But I think I'm going to go with Oklahoma.
Yes, this is the right pick. I would have taken this third. Thank you.
Because
I was going to steal that so quick.
Because Oklahoma is most likely going to win the Big 12.
Well, if they're
undefeated, they will make the playoff again.
If they win this week, they're probably like 95% to make the playoff.
Or they could easily do what they did last year, lose this week, and then win again in the Big 12 title game again.
But they play Texas, so I think that Oklahoma has a great chance. I mean, maybe not to win a game, but to be in it based on who they play. I mean, Ohio State still has has better opponents left than Oklahoma does. We'll see. Back to me. Oh, man. It's between 2 teams here. And for me, I'm going with Wisconsin. For who's next? Jake, upset.
This draft is stupid because I picked them next because I was like, he's not going to go here. I'm going to go with this, but whatever.
Well, it's based on who has the best odds. So I would say there's a very good chance that they win the West and beat Ohio State in the championship and come out
again
11-1 or 12-0.
Big Ten champ is a guarantee.
Which is why I had
playoff
because they mean they'd have to win the West and then they beat Ohio State. And you can't keep a team out that beats Ohio State if they're undefeated. Honestly, regardless of the record, Jonathan Taylor, in my opinion, is the Heisman frontrunner and he should win a Heisman. The dude is unreal.
Well, it's my pick.
He's going to beat Ron Dane's record.
So now, Jake, to you. And who you got?
I'm going to take UGA, taking UGA, taking the Bulldogs from Georgia, putting them in there, obviously, because you guys took my other picks that I wanted. But I'm actually surprised Georgia was on the board this long, to be honest.
Really?
That's it. Again, like I said, there's been 2 SEC schools in the last 2 years, so it's
right.
It's pretty good, especially if the Pac-12 and if the Big 12, it can happen again. Or the Big 12 could knock themselves out.
Yes, and Florida could easily beat Georgia. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that could happen.
We'll see.
But
we'll see. It'll be interesting.
I think that this would look a lot different if Notre Dame were 5-0 instead of 4-1. Jake, you got another?
Hold on, let me cross some of these off here.
I would handcuff Uga with somebody else from the same conference.
Yeah, I'm looking here, and I'm gonna. Because they're on the board, and this would require this team to not only beat Florida, but also Auburn and Alabama. And if they could do all those things, there's no way you could keep them out. LSU is my number 3.
It's a good pick. I like LSU.
Mean,
Joe Burrow's playing great.
They win all those games and then possibly beat Georgia in a SEC title game, or maybe Florida again. I don't know.
Back to me. I'm looking at Florida.
I hate that I have 2 SEC schools too. It really annoys me.
But here's something I like. I have Bama and Wisconsin already. I'm going to look out west, and I'm going to take a shot at Oregon.
What?
They're 4-1.
I was going to take them.
They host ranked Arizona State, and they go at Washington, and those are their hard games.
But look who they lost to.
It's an uphill
They lost
battle.
to Auburn, so you might have a chance there because they only lost by what, a point? 2 points?
1 point, I think.
But if they're 11-1 and
To Auburn?
and other teams, other conference champions
It's an
are
uphill
11-1.
battle, but they still have a chance. They definitely still have a chance.
I think they have a good chance based on the reputation that the Pac-12 has left out, that if there are a good amount of 11-1 Power 5 champions, they get a good look at getting in.
And record.
Brandon, you have the next 2 picks again.
We're getting down to the you kind of scraping right now to try and find a top 4 team. Yeah, I definitely was looking at Oregon as a conference champion that gives you your best shot. I'm looking at the SEC. There's 2 teams that are, there's obviously a lot of competition, so SEC teams are going to be if you can win out or get to that conference championship game.
There's an undefeated
There's a
SEC
chance.
team in the top 7 that's still open.
Exactly, and that's where I'm leaning. That's where I'm leaning. And I think I'm going to take them. I think I'm going to take Florida with this pick. We'll see how their defense plays against LSU, who's been pretty powerful on offense so far this year.
Here's what's smart for the most part is that most of us have taken picks from all different conferences, which gives you the best chance to have more right.
Well, I also took 2 teams that are in separate. I don't know if they play each other this year, but they're in separate divisions.
And you're the only one that has 2 teams in the same conference, which, it's 2 good choices.
If LSU, like I said, if LSU beats Auburn, beats Florida, beats Alabama, and then wins there's no way they keep them out. That's ridiculous.
All right, I was stalling for Brandon. Brandon, you have another pick.
This one's tough. I don't really know who to take. I'm going at a team that has a chance to win their conference.
Yeah, who's got a chance with
So this is an interesting pick because I'm kind of canceling myself out this week because they're playing each other this week.
Oh, damn it.
But I think I'm going to take Texas. I think I'm going to take Texas because I think they got a chance. They say they got a good chance to win the Big 12.
Texas
now that they
was
are
one of
and
the
their losses to
teams.
LSU. So that's a quality loss.
I was looking at them. Yep.
By 3 points, I think.
Because I don't think Notre Dame has much of a chance. Although their loss is obviously very, very good, I think the no conference championship for Notre Dame is going to hurt them
Plus
with
last
one
year's
loss.
performance is going to
With
hurt
one
them.
loss, I don't see how they will make it over other teams with one loss that have. So I'm going with Texas.
Okay. It is time for my 4th. I'm gonna dig a little deeper. And I'm gonna take a shot. I'm a gambling man. I like the odds here for what it's worth for my 4th round pick. Undefeated, probable conference champion, sitting right now at number 14, Boise State.
Are you serious?
Is my final pick.
A Mountain West school. There's no way a Group of 5 school will crash the college football playoff.
If we have a lot of one-loss teams,
There's a lot of parity, maybe, but
and they're undefeated, I think that people were loud enough when the UCF Knights didn't make it. Boise State has a track record of being a very good program, and they've beaten Oklahoma in a bowl. They beat LSU in Florida, and they play Hawaii, BYU, San Jose State, Wyoming, New Mexico, Utah State, and Colorado State. I mean, come on. They're probably going to end the season undefeated. So for my fourth pick, I like the odds. Jake, what's your fourth pick?
My fourth pick is a similar Big Ten school.
I have them losing this week.
But see, that's the thing is even if they were to lose to Iowa, it's more impressive if they win the East. And I know that they got blocked out of the college football playoff, I think, in 2015, 2016 maybe? They kind of got blocked out even though they won that conference and they beat Ohio State. But if they beat Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State, and Iowa, even say they lose Iowa, still those 3 wins are pretty signature wins. And yes, they struggled against their really only big non-conference opponent in Pittsburgh. I still would put Penn State in winning all those games in the Big Ten East over Notre Dame. While yes, it's an impressive win or impressive loss, I still think, like you were saying, Brandon, I think we have to start punishing Notre Dame for not being in a conference. And if Penn State were to win all those games and then beat, say, Iowa again or Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship, it'd be very hard to keep them out of the college football playoff. So I got to go with the Nittany Lions there.
Okay, well, that finishes it up. To recap, Jake, you have Clemson, Georgia, LSU, and Penn State. Brandon with Ohio State, Oklahoma, Florida, and Texas. And I have Alabama, Wisconsin, Oregon, and Boise State. I have a few maybes. I think, Brandon, you have the best 2 for sures with Ohio State and Oklahoma. I like that combo better than what Jake or I have.
If I were
honestly,
if I were to seed them, I think it would be LSU number 1. It would be LSU number 1 because of all the teams they'd have to beat. Clemson number 2, Georgia number 3, and then Penn State number 4. If I were to had to put them in order.
Well, it'll be a few months, but we will find out who drafted the best and who had the most teams that made the college football playoff.